Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video. Today we're talking about the Canon EOS webcam utility and how I use it in my process flow for streaming. Let's go. Okay, so first up you need to download the utility from Canon's website. I'll leave the link in the video description, and no, this isn't sponsored. After installing this software, you'll notice that there is actually no executable file. That is because this is more of a driver of sorts, and I'm about to explain how to use it. Before I go through this bit of the process, I'm just going to make sure that you know that you need to have your camera connected via USB and powered on. If you're planning on using this for extended periods of time, use a dummy battery power solution. I made a video on that absolutely ages ago. I'll leave a link in the video description to one that I'd recommend. I think it's probably around about 20 quid. Just means that you can plug it either into like a USB wall wart, or you can plug it into a USB power bank or your PC and power your camera for a long time. So I'm going to be using Streamlabs. If you open Streamlabs and go to a new video capture device, or modify your existing video capture device if you've already got one set up, you will now see that the EOS webcam utility is now listed under the sources. So once you go ahead and select this, what will happen is it will feed directly over the USB cable a clean feed from your camera. It's pretty neat. If you usually have EOS utility open automatically when you plug in your camera, you'll need to disable this. So go down into your system tray if you're on Windows, right click, and make sure that you have do not launch automatically when a device is connected selected. I then quit EOS utility and practically just ignore it from now on, because this is quite handy. If you don't do this, what will happen is EOS webcam utility will not be able to communicate with the camera because EOS utility takes priority. So the way to check for this is if you just see EOS webcam utility come up on screen in something like Streamlabs or whatever program you're using, and it never changes to the camera even though it's connected via USB and it's powered on, you know that it's probably this, or you've got a substandard USB cable. Another drawback is that it seems to pull in 1024 by 576 resolution. Now, as you'll see by the examples in a second, this doesn't actually reflect in the quality of the video. It still looks 1080p. So I'm not quite sure what's happening here. For reference, my settings on my camera for these clips is it's set to full HD at 59.94 frames a second with 125 shutter speed, and everything else is practically auto. So this is set for 60 frames a second feed from the camera, because that's what I use for when I'm streaming. My only guess here is that it's because it's beta software, it's actually feeding the resolution from the little screen on my M50. Obviously your mileage may vary depending on what camera you're using, but with my M50 that's the resolution that comes up, but it doesn't actually reflect the resolution that I'm getting on screen. Okay, so here is the comparison between the EOS utility software and the feed over HDMI through my Elgato. If you missed my Elgato video on how to stream using a proper camera, please check the link in the video description or the link up here. Somewhere, never remember which side. That video does detail how you can use any camera to use as a webcam or streaming, providing that you have, these resources available. In terms of usability though, this software is actually pretty plug and play. I can use the software to use my webcam to video call people using WhatsApp, Facebook, Discord, and obviously Streamlabs as I've shown here. The software also stops that auto shut off. It removes anything on the screen. Like I said, it does provide a clean HDMI feed, which is something that you don't get when you're using it over HDMI unless you press the info button a few times to get rid of it. The auto shut off when you're using it kind of via HDMI has to be provided via the EOS utility software over USB anyway. So this just means that you don't actually have to have a HDMI cable plugged in. And if you are streaming or a gamer that wants to create content, you can then use your Elgato purely for your Xbox or PlayStation or Switch, whatever console, and you can not have to worry about having an extra capture card for a camera or capturing it separately and then syncing it up. Obviously, the latter is not possible if you're streaming. You need both. So this is a really good way if you've already got one capture card to upgrade your face cam quality for streaming. Just plug your Canon camera in using the utility software and you are away. I'd personally say that doing it this way doesn't lose too much quality over the HDMI way. It does look a little bit different, but not massively. It's still an extremely high quality feed, so it's very, very passable when it comes to creating content. If you're used to using something like the Logitech C920, which is kind of like the standard, like it's 90 quid, it's what most people go for when it comes to getting some kind of face cam for your setup, this is so much better. You have the benefit of being able to use all your lenses, you get better depth of field. Obviously you don't actually get the autofocus, but that's not too much of a problem. But then again, the Logitech is a £90 webcam, so who's really to argue with that? Alright, that does wrap up this video. I hope you found this insightful into what the webcam utility software can offer you if you do own a Canon camera. There's a full list of compatible cameras on Canon's website. That link is also in the video description. But if you did like this video, please give it a like. Don't forget to comment if you've got any questions or you've had any other experiences with this software. Get subscribed to stay up to date for whenever I release a new video, and like the bell to be notified whenever I release a new video. But until the next one, see ya.